What's up, everybody? Welcome in. Happy Monday. Happy MLK Day. Great day to hang out and discuss the justice system for a guy who fought for justice, had a way with words in discussing justice. And we're going to talk about a tough case today that justice can look very different for a lot of different people. But regardless, our system is kind of on display here in Florida with this case, with some of the issues, some of the difficulties of being a lawyer and dealing with certain clients, but also trying to protect the rights of even the difficult clients. That's a lot of what this case is about. So we're going to continue to discuss it today. That case is Sarah Boone, of course. And we're starting this new thing. I talked, I think it might have been one of the member videos about how we're going to start trying to do like snapshots of these cases in under a minute, a quick summary for people who either are first time joining a video, don't know what the case is about, or on a new case we're handling, or if somebody wants to reference back. So we're going to start doing that. And the first one we're going to do is on Sarah Boone. So I was working on that today. So much to pack into 1 minute with the 7 different lawyers, all the continuances, the letters to the judges, the videos that she made on her cell phone, the crazy allegations, the video recorded interviews with him in law enforcement. And guess what? We've done videos on all of them. So we're going to try to boil stuff down into shorts to give people kind of an overview and a summary of the case, and then point them to the playlists if they want deeper dives on other things. Yeah. Allie, how about impossible is really what it is. And I know people are going to complain about other cases like Murdoch or whatever case I talk about that. Well, you didn't say this or you didn't mention this. And I'm going to do as much as I can in the 1 minute, right? And the point is to just quick overview so you know this is about a lady who was playing hide and seek with her fiance, zipped him in a suitcase, taunted him on video, went upstairs, went to sleep, finds him the next morning, charged with the crime, 7 different lawyers, a bunch of continuances, writing letters to the judge complaining about the system. Let's talk about it. Right? Kind of like that. Kind of just like a case-by-case deal in a snapshot so people can know what's happening. It's not going to hit every detail. When I talked to John about it, Salty Beach Girl said, you can't do a minute, Peter. Oh, I will. And I can. But I won't hit everything. And that's like what lawyers do, right? Like you ask a question, the funny answer is it depends. But in reality, there are different ways everything can go, right? And that's kind of what makes our job, as part of our job, is explaining like, here's best case scenario, here's worst case scenario. We're going to work towards this, fight towards that, whatever it may be. Janet said, yeah, made it to a live. Hello, lawyer, you know, fam. Susan said, 1 year anniversary, time has flown. So amazing how we have grown. Yes. Oh, sorry. I thought I hit Susan's. Susan, 1 year anniversary, time has flown. So amazing how we have grown. Yes, it is Susan. So I've been seeing a bunch of reports about Sarah Boone and how this case is going to trial. And it's going to trial on January 26th. And one of the stations saying True Crime Super Tuesday or something with all these hearings. We got Murdoch, we got Boone, we got, I don't know, something in Karen Reed and Montgomery, in cases I haven't followed as much. And I was like, what? Like we just reviewed a motion, what was it, a week ago in Sarah Boone's case about how they need more funding because they need an expert to do X, Y, and Z. And how she may be exploring possible new defenses. So it's an impossibility, and I don't say that often, a 0% chance, which I also don't say often, that this case goes to trial on January 26th. But I did see Court TV when talking about it and discussing the upcoming trial dates. They did kind of a good summary of the delays and things that have happened in this case. I like different visual aids. I like videos. I like documents. I like just discussing it and trying to engage with people, looking them in the eye, using your hands to help you explain. Something goes from here to here. It gets bigger or it shrinks smaller. I like those different presentation types to keep people engaged. So we're going to look at a video clip today. We're going to look at a document today and discuss why this case is not going to happen on January 29th, something like that. Tomorrow, January 16th, is the hearing. Welcome to Aunt B and Terry Webb, to the membership crew, and love Thank you for spreading the love on MLK Day here with 20 gifted memberships. Make sure you have gifting turned on so we can get some new members into the fold. We did one members only video in January already. That was kind of a bonus. We are planning the next one, which we usually talk non-legal stuff, or if we talk legal stuff, it's, voting on cases and different things that we think. It's not a lot of breakdowns and stuff like that. It's more hang out behind the scenes, get to know me a little better, get to know you guys a little better. Fun stuff, perks and stuff for the membership. You can check that out if you get a free membership or if you want to join. Okay, let's first take a look at Court TV. They discussed Sarah Boone case going to trial potentially, and I don't blame them, right? When this stuff comes up and a lot of people are interested, they've got to discuss it. They've got to discuss what they think. They have a panel on, but really what we're going to discuss and think about is when they put up all of the delays and issues in the case, how we got here and how frustrating you can tell it is and must be for Sarah Boone that we still are not going to trial yet. Although I think she agrees with this continuance, we'll discuss that more later.
Once investigators found that video, the whole nature of the case changed. Now, pretrial hearing coming up on January 16th. The trial once again scheduled for January 26th.
All right, it's not 29th, it's 26th, which I think is a Friday. Maybe they'd like pick the jury and start on Monday, but either way, not going to happen.
Take a look at this video. This is the last time that she was in court when she was approved to get her 7th attorney, which led to their trial getting postponed for the 13th time.
13 times so far her trial has been postponed, which is wild but not unusual. These things happen, continuances happen. Sometimes they start early, so it's not as big of a deal. But now that the case has been around for years, every continuance seems to hurt a little bit more. And we got to make sure it's appropriate for the right reasons. I think they've got a new judge and new defense lawyer, by the way, which is just more chips stacking against this case going to trial on January 26th.
The first 12 postponements took place from July 27th of 2020 to July of 2023. 12 times it's postponed over the course of 3 years.
So we understand the 2020s, right? COVID, all that stuff, clogged courts. But then another year, 2021, it gets continued. Then 2022, it continues to get continued. And then it was one of the trials we were looking forward to covering in 2023. Guess what? It's been continued. So now what about 2024? Early 2024, but it's still technically 2024. What's going to happen now?
And you talk about, and it's all happening because she keeps getting new attorneys. These attorneys are finding it impossible to work with her. So
it's not the only reason for the continuances, though. Yes, she's getting new attorneys, but even within the representation by those attorneys, they're needing to get continuances because they're trying to get experts, they're trying to get funding, they're trying to get interviews done, they're trying to gather evidence. They have other trials going on. Like we had multiple continuances because Bankowitz was trying capital cases. That's not Sarah Boone's fault. That's not her switching attorney's fault. Part of the delays are absolutely because of switching attorneys. Part of the delays, I would bet, are her fault. I don't know that for a fact, but I would guess are her fault. But some of them are absolutely outside of her control and are part of the system and part of the problems that we need to try to face and fix and move forward and determine what caused these continuances and what can help fix them.
Bring back in our think tank, Ekla Mercy, Kirk Nurmi, and Nima Ramani. So here we are. Let me ask you about the trial, if this thing ever happens. How important?
All right, so here is a very interesting little timeline that they're going to go through. For when she had her arraignment, April of 2020, that first trial postponement, no shocker there, COVID. By the way, we're going to see her waiver of speedy trial again in writing here when we read the motion later in the video, but she would have had to waive speedy trial here between April and July, would be my guess. And before that first trial was continued in July, there had to be a knowing and voluntary waiver accepted by the court. I know she has complained about it. I know a lot of people, that's been a question a lot of people have in the chats, which I completely understand. But she would have had to waive it before that July 27th trial date was continued, because as you can tell, that's kind of the one set in that speedy trial period. But then it gets continued to March, and then May, and then June, and then October, and then December, and then from December to April, all these trial continuances, and there are more coming on the next slide.
Is the fact, and these are all the postponements and cancellations that we've had. How important is it, Nima, when you talk about how he got inside.
And here we go. August, November, January. And you can tell it's just a couple months. January, April, July. And then again, more continuances to get us to January of 2024. So, and as we go through each of these, again, there are all sorts of reasons this trial has been delayed. From Sarah Boone probably not cooperating, from lawyers having to conflict off, right? She's had a couple lawyers that have had to conflict off, from getting lawyers up to speed with the case, from the lawyers that she has having other trials and other conflicts, not conflicts from representing her, but conflicts from showing up to court or trying the case. Lawyers not communicating with her. That's been a reason for some of the delays. Funding for experts doing their reports and interviews and looking at the evidence, right? And that pretty much is what's happening again. Not Sarah Boone's fault, but they're still waiting for that funding. You got to get the JNC involved. You got to have multiple hearings. It's tough to get hearing time in front of the court. All of that stuff. I think that's
Side of that. Certainly get, but
right of her. Maybe
that's the end of the kind of slides that I wanted to present from that. Thank you, Doug St. Martin. It might mean Doug from St. Martin, but when I first see this, I think Doug Martin, the old Bucks running back. Yeah, Ray. Imagine being not guilty after all this. Again, we have some video evidence. We have some damning interviews and statements made by Sarah Boone. We'll see how it all gets presented to the jury. And if they end up finding her guilty, we will see. She is presumed innocent at this point. But imagine yourself being there in this position and being not guilty and knowing you didn't do it. And sometimes the system still sweeps you up. That's the problem. Midnight Yell. I will never not be stuck up on this. Amanda E., I think there's a chance she does go to trial this year, probably later this year. If I was a betting man, I would say late 24, early 25. Kathy, my guess is she feels the same way. Yes, so much going on tomorrow. We will definitely, so here's what we'll probably do for tomorrow, just a little programming note. We'll cover Murdoch. That'll be the main point. Reaction, some clips. I think it's at 9:30 a.m. is the hearing to determine whether or not there's going to be an evidentiary hearing. I expect the judge to say yes to that. It'll be a real shocker if the judge says no to that. If they do say yes, maybe we'll get some parameters. Who's going to question who? How long will it be? Will they take affidavits or will they actually question them? How much will be done behind closed doors, in camera? And if it is in camera, will the judge ask questions? Will counsel ask questions? Will Newman be there? Will Creighton Waters be a witness? All sorts of stuff going on there. But we'll also probably record something just saying, yep, we told you so. What we figured, Sarah Boone case continued. If there's a clip from that hearing, maybe we'll talk about that as well tomorrow. Tracy Ferreter, I think that's the wife of the boy in the box case. I haven't followed that one as much. If you guys want me to, let me know. Salty Beach Girl, question if she eventually gets convicted and it's the same length, less than all, will all this court time toward her number and is it some percentage of total sentence? So I think what your question is, will she get credit for time served for all these years of being sitting in jail? Yes. So she gets a 15-year sentence. She'll have already served 3 or 4 years. So yes. Let's see here. What else we got? Jason said, hey, Peter, thank you for all you do. Thank you, Jason. Thanks for coming to hang out. I'm on my own here today, starring questions, so trying to scroll through and get some. She's on lawyer number 7, I believe now. Welcome to the Greek. All right, let's take a look here now at the other reason why I'm confident, and I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not a savant. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I just see stuff, know how it works sometimes, and explain how it works. And guess what? It's not just that prior motion that we're waiting on to see what the answer is, the judge, see if we need future hearings, but the new lawyer for Sarah Boone, has filed a motion to continue on January 12th. Last Friday, new lawyer, new to the case, new judge. This motion to continue all but guarantees this case is not going to trial on January 26th. Comes now, the accused, Sarah Boone, by and through undersigned attorney, pursuant to Florida Rule of Criminal Procedure 3.190F, and moves this court to enter an order granting continuance and waiver of presence in the above styled case. As grounds in support of this motion, the accused states that trial in this cause is set to be heard in the trial period starting on January 29th. The pretrial conference is scheduled for January 16th. So maybe they were picking a jury on the 26th. Maybe that's the date issue there. That additional time is needed in order to prepare this case for trial. So that is a very important issue. The lawyer's new to the case. We have to make sure that it's a fair trial for the criminal defendant. We do not want to push them. That's why it's their right to speedy trial and not necessarily the state's right to speedy trial. But if they abuse this right, the judge can still force them to go ahead to trial. This attorney just got on the case. He gave some very legitimate reasons in the prior motion with the new expert, more funding needed. This is a good enough reason to continue the case so they can prepare for trial. Counsel is still reviewing extensive discovery in this case, which if you remember back to Sarah Boone's letters to the court, she said Bankowitz never even looked at this discovery. And there's boxes of it, and she hasn't seen a lot of it. Well, if I'm the new attorney and I want a continuance, there's a lot of fodder there for me to use saying, I got to review it, she's got to review it, we got to talk about it. And he's also seeking appointment of experts, which again, we read that entire motion. This court has approved costs for a private investigator. That's good, but that private investigator needs to work. Can't go to trial now because the private investigator still has work to do. The tasks to be accomplished in preparation for trial cannot be concluded by the now scheduled trial date. That seems reasonable. That seems clear. That seems like it makes sense. Speedy trial has been waived. Once again, in writing, confirming that speedy trial is waived. And to me, I hope and I would think, and most of the time, lawyers talk to their clients before doing stuff like this. And Sarah Boone understands and agrees that her speedy trial has been waived, and she probably wants this case continued as well because she wants an expert. She wants to potentially present the battered spouse defense, and she wants to maybe investigate some kind of alcohol defense or mitigation. We will see. We will see. But to me, I do think that there is more than enough legitimate reasons to continue this case. Now, hopefully they continue it like 6 months so he can prep for the trial and we can go. Not 1 month because he's not going to be ready a month from now. And this court maybe at this pretrial hearing will schedule the hearing to determine whether or not he's going to give more funding to Sarah Boone. Paragraph 5 probably should be 4. The state attorney has been notified that counsel will be filing this motion and has no objection. Rubber stamp. Locked and loaded. The state attorney's office in this case, in my opinion, has been very cooperative with Sarah Boone, understanding, staying out of the fights they should stay out of, getting into the fights they should get into. I think they've done a great job personally. The court has handled it appropriately, not an easy criminal defendant to deal with. The state has no objection. So if the defense says they need more time, they ask for the continuance. State doesn't have an objection. New judge on the case. This case is getting continued. Awaken, yay. Is this a world record? No. Cases have lasted 3, 4, 5 times as long as this. Suzu, how many lawyers will they allow her to go through? As many as we can to get her somebody who's going to be fair towards her and give her a competent representation. Welcome, Ava Bella. Don Jam. Peter, would you take on a client who has gone through this many attorneys? It's a good question. And I think the answer is it depends, which some people hate. Probably not a criminal client in this situation. A civil client, if I believed in their case and I saw the reasons the prior lawyers left for one reason or another, and I thought that they were reasons we could overcome, then potentially, yes, it would be very, very difficult. Going through this many lawyers, I will say, it sucks, but it also gives future lawyers it's kind of like the ick, kind of like the ick for lawyers as somebody who's been through 7 lawyers. So it'd have to be tough to overcome, but it's possible. Joe, question: what happens if she runs out of defense lawyers? Is this if this lawyer is fired by her? The court probably won't let her fire this lawyer unless there's a really good reason, like Banquets, where they both want to separate. But we'll see. Maria, why is there a new judge? Just rotation. Judges rotate on and off sometimes, and this happens. It sucks, and again, causes delays sometimes, but they rotate it around. Lisa, we're still waiting to see if she gets the extra money for experts. Stephanie asked about John Pryor quitting, Chad Daybell's lawyer. So did Cat's Addict. I did an entire video on that on Saturday. So go to our page and check it out. I've got a lot of thoughts. And I break down the differences for legitimate reasons to bounce off cases, for illegitimate reasons, when money is okay to bounce, when it's not, what rules say about that. So I do a deep dive on that. Check out that video on our page. Lisa, she's been quiet as far as letters. Do you think new counsel advised her to stop? So, I mean, I don't know if it's so much that he advised her to stop or that she feels like she's getting adequate representation at this point and she doesn't feel the need to complain to the judge. I think that's a real and legitimate possibility, that it's not just him, the new lawyer, saying, don't write these letters to the court, but it's in fact saying, what do you need, Sarah? Tell me. Let's see if we can deal with it so you don't need to write the letter to the court, because it's not really going to help you writing letters to these courts, to these judges. Paul Young's Esquire, assumingly a lawyer, says, yeah, definitely skittish about being the 5th, 6th lawyer on a case. Yeah, it's never what you want. Never what you want. Nicole, hey, lawyer, fam. Finally caught alive. Just wanted to say hello and hope everyone's doing well. As always, thank you, Peter, for your hard work. Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate all the questions. Again, that's what makes this interesting, is your questions. Let's see what else we got. Has she had her first attorneys were female. Somebody said she needs a female attorney. A little bit. Has she had a mental evaluation? I believe she has, but I believe they want to do more or further mental evaluations for different defenses, potentially competency. We'll see what pops up. Family account. Can we explore the relationship between her and her ex? Why she called him first and what's happening with her son? Again, it may have been because of her son, because he was the father of her child that she called him. We don't really know. I don't have any more information to explore or expand on that. I do expect her husband to be involved, at least, if nothing else, talking to the state, talking to law enforcement. We'll see if he ends up being a witness at trial. I think he might be. Patrice Change. Thanks for covering this. Any chance in covering Karen Reed? So we've had a couple requests for it, not a ton. I think some other people are potentially covering it as well. If you guys have questions and want me to jump in, what I think will happen with Karen Reed, because so much has happened that I am behind on and don't know about, it may be a case I jump into when it goes to trial, not knowing anything about it. I like to split it. I like to, deep dive like we're doing on, Murdaugh and Koberger and Sarah Boone, but I also like to, like Kyle Rittenhouse and Johnny Depp, and some of those cases, maybe just walking in fresh like a juror, not knowing anything about the case. And to me, Karen Reed might be one of those, because I know a lot has happened. There's a lot of conspiracy theories, and I call them conspiracy theories in light of they might be true, right? Because I think conspiracy theories usually have a negative connotation, but a lot of them have turned out to be true over the years, right? So a lot of shadiness and weird stuff going on and stuff that just doesn't add up or make sense. So I think it might be one I saved it for trial, and just, I don't even know the first thing about that case. I think a cop is involved. That's all I know. So this is a good question here. Crafty Grandma, how much money is wasted on this trial with all new attorneys? So that does suck. And the taxpayer dollars have had to pay for, not all of the attorneys have prepared for the case or done much work on the case, but 2, 3, 4 attorneys doing the same exact work. Like, you wouldn't want to do that out of your own pocket, and it sucks when the taxpayers have to do it. But it is true. It is true. multiple attorneys have possibly been paid or potentially been paid to go through the discovery and meet with Sarah Boone and get the background on this case. Joe, have you had a client hit on you? How would you turn them down? This is a weird question. I first read it. Have you had a client hit you? Which I have not had happen. Hit on me, not till after the case and in kind of the nicest way possible. And it was very easy and gentle discussion about, how they know I'm married happily with kids. But comments have been made during cases, mostly tongue in cheek and joking, nothing that's really offended me. Diana, thank you for the super sticker. Did you hear about the Franklin Tyrone Tucker self-representation case? I have not. Again, the way would you cover DA Rourke's newsstand and the Chris Watts case? Again, a lot of these cases I did not cover, and the way the content is picked on this channel is by the subscribers and the members. So if you subscribe, then please make sure that you let me know when we post stuff on the community page or when you see people talking about it in the chat. If you want to talk about a case, then jump on board and let me know. Oh, Sweetie No said EDB has a good story about a juror asking her out. So I've got a lot of funny juror stories after trials, but the vast majority of them are like, I could be your mother and you're just such a handsome young man and I'm so proud of you. A lot of jurors have said after trials, which I always love and appreciate. And a lot of times, sometimes they do kind of look like my mom or could be in the same life stage as my mom. Delphi update soon, Hannibal Lecter. I'll have to check it out and see what's going on there. But somebody posted the other day, like the differences between how the Delphi defendant looks when he shows up to court and how Koberger looks when he shows up to court, which shows how different jurisdictions handle things. Welcome, Joyce, to the membership crew. Yes, mistrial. Don't forget to hit the like button and please subscribe. Please subscribe. We're trying to continue to grow the subscriber base, to grow the backgrounds and questions and different outlooks on these cases and different potential jurors and how you think about cases. That's been my favorite part about the channel. And I feel like it makes me a better trial lawyer and sharpens my skills to hear how you guys look at this stuff, how you look at evidence, how you look at testimony, how you look at experts, how you look at clients, how you look at lawyers and presentation styles. I learned so much about that. Malleus Maximus. Sorry if asked, just joined. One simple but interesting take I saw yesterday was Sarah is asking counsel how she gets out of jail. She won't accept anybody that can't present a pathway. Thoughts? I think we maybe would have heard about that from Bankowitz. I think if she was basically just making outlandish demands that no lawyer would be able to do for her, we might have heard about it. I don't think that's it. I think she wants somebody to give her the time and attention that she believes is appropriate. Now, will that ever happen? I don't know. But I think she probably knows at this point she's not getting out. Probably wants to. Crime Curious. I'm traveling from KC to NH for Montgomery trial. I would be happy to serve as your on-site correspondent. Very cool, Crime Curious. I have not really heard much about the Montgomery trial or case. So again, if you guys want it, make it clear and let me know. On Instagram and Twitter or X, follow me at Tragos Law, at Lawyer You Know. Send me DMs on the cases you guys are interested in. Tag me and stuff on there. I'll take a look at it. And if there's enough, we'll jump on it. Azam. Peter, potentially another dumb question. What is indigent from the law perspective? I searched and it literally, translation is poor. It means you cannot afford an attorney. You do not have the means to pay for a competent attorney to handle your case, and therefore the state will provide one for you. That's what indigent means from a legal perspective, and the court costs, not just a lawyer. Harper, welcome to the crew. All right, kind of a short one today. It's a holiday. A lot of different things going on. I'm glad you guys all were here to join me, to hang out, to subscribe, to hit that like button, ask your questions, join the membership family. You guys are the best. Literally couldn't do it without you. Wouldn't do it without you because we don't need to do this, right? We don't need to be here. We like to be here together, to hang out, have fun, enjoy ourselves, educate each other, learn from this process in this very weird world of YouTube. but I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else. So thank you everybody for joining, for hanging out. Until next time, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching another episode of The Lawyer You Know. If you enjoyed the episode, please hit the thumbs up and share with your friends who may be interested here on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. And don't forget to check out the Lawyer You Know podcast with new seasons dropping every quarter. If you have a case you want to talk to us about, if it's a personal injury case, wrongful death, catastrophic injury, car accident, or slip and fall case, please email us at lawyeryouknow@gmail.com. And of course, all these links I just mentioned are included in the description below on this episode and every episode. So until next time, this is Peter Tragos, The Lawyer You Know.